instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past. Whatever they are, whatever you call them, ghosts, spirits, shades, specters, apparitions, there is not a corner of the world they do not inhabit.
I'm coming through.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Ninjas Podcast. We talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McGidry.
Hey, folks.
And Living in Haunt, Howard Dwell in the Dark. We want to talk about it. And tonight, boy, oh boy, we were passing this place a lot recently because of certain events that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to talk about the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah, we are.
That went down in the Philadelphia shipyard.
Yeah, back in allegedly back in 1943.
Yeah, it's a wild tale. It involves the likes of Albert Einstein and lots of seamen and all kinds of.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa! I didn't mean that kind of seamen. Let's say sailors. Sailors.
Could have been worse.
But,
you could have said Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla worried about all these seamen. I don't know.
I could have definitely said that, but I didn't. And before we get on to the Philadelphia experiment, we're going to send it over to Jay for tonight's jump scare.
All right, thanks, Ken. This one's pretty crazy. It's short, but kind of gave me the chills when I read it. This is
Did you say?
Oh shit, Peter James.
I'm coming through.
All right,
Cool.
Sorry.
No, it's cool.
It
It's all
gave
right.
me the heebie
Willies?
the willies,
Yeah.
the creeps.
Yeah, I like the creeps.
Gave me the creeps. This is from Josh from Atlanta.
Josh.
Sorry you live in Atlanta, Josh.
You fuck.
Yeah. So Josh says, after we moved into our home, we were told a woman had died there at the hands of her abusive husband, and she hated men. My
Yeah.
dad would wake up with scratches all over himself, and whenever my brother was mean to my sister or I, he would have scratches on him as well. One day, my brother hurt our sister. He hit her with something. When he woke up later that night, he had a terrible bloody nose.
Oh no.
The day we moved out, my brother accidentally broke his twin's arm trying out a wrestling move. He swears that he would have died that night. It wasn't our last night in the house. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, the bloody nose thing. I mean,
that can happen in allergy season, but like the dude, like first
Yeah.
the dad waking up with just the dad, he would just wake up with scratches all over himself. That's crazy. And then the other brother just being mean to the sister, he'd have scratches on him as well. But the broken arm, yeah, they're right. That would have been it. Like
yeah, that's too much.
the ghost lady would have suplexed him in his sleep or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Gave him a razor's edge. You know,
Nice.
something cool. One of the cool ones. You know,
Yeah.
Sweet Chin Music wouldn't have did that. You know, wouldn't have broke the arm.
No. I was gonna say like the 3D or even the 2D, but you need two ghosts to do that.
Yeah, right. We don't know if there's any about.
No. The Olympic Slam, maybe, or a bulldog, even.
A nice bulldog, a nice or a sidewalk slam, possibly.
Yes.
Or they could have just hit him with the mandible claw and got a little rough.
Oof.
You know, you never know.
That goes into like possession territory or something.
It does. It definitely does. Whoa!
You all right over there? I saw it
Something
come
just-
through.
Yeah, it just hit me in
Was
the
that
shoulder.
Two things came through.
Ow,
Whoa.
God. Man.
It's like UAPs over there.
Yeah, man, it's UAP City over here.
The
but
congressional hearing in your room over there.
yeah, I gotta get that one guy that looks like JT Romuto over here to figure out what's going on. Well, those were both haunted headlines.
Haunted headlines.
All right, thanks, Peter. So we got two for you tonight. Now, one is an older one, but we haven't covered it. We haven't got our feet on the ground, boots on the ground to discuss things over there in Peru. But the headline is terrified Peruvian villagers claim they are under attack from 7 feet tall aliens dubbed face peelers. That deserves a Wendigo riff as they plead with authorities to send backup. Terrified villagers in a rural Peruvian district have claimed they have come under attack by 7 feet tall aliens they have dubbed Los Pelacaras, the face peelers. Members of the Iquitu tribe from San Antonio native community have reported mysterious figures in dark color hoods attacking the villagers who live in the rural districts of Alto Nene, northeast of Lima, Peru. After one such attack, a 15-year-old girl had been taken to the hospital. According to the community leader, Yaro Ritagiu Davayala, the teenager you got it, narrowly escaped, but as a result of the struggle, cut part of her neck. Now, according to local media, members of the community are conducting night patrols to protect the women, children, and more vulnerable villagers, and have called the authorities to send for military help. Now, I'll just go a little further with my own research here. A description has been updated where they look like they're on jetpacks, and they have the predator shielding ability. And also big yellow eyes. Now, the authorities actually eventually did do an investigation to which they are claiming it is a gang of illegal miners who are, going after gold mine and precious metals in that village, and they're trying to scare everyone away so they can get all their precious goodies. Now, I don't know about you, my friend, but jetpack wielding, cloaking device having thieves? Does this sound feasible?
Oh, we're gonna go there? No, this is crazy.
Okay, so then it is aliens.
Yes, I'm gonna go with yes.
It's gonna have
if
to
they
be,
can
man.
do all that.
I mean, it's I'm not gonna come raining down on Peru.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing shade at Peru, but
I mean,
I don't know.
it sounds like a rogue Mandalorian, to be honest.
Yeah,
Jetpacks,
it absolutely does.
I mean, I don't know if they have invisibility technology, but why not?
And I don't know if Mandalorians peeled faces, but I'm imagining.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
If
That's
you,
what
if you
it sounds
there's
like.
a there's a sect. If you see their face, they peel your face off.
I like it.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know about that. Now I'll log
Now
that
you
into
do.
my
Yep.
my old Star
It's
Wars.
as crazy
trap
as
up
all the
here.
other stuff Filoni puts in there, so I think it fits.
Yeah. So that's fucking wild.
Yeah. Hey
I
man,
hope someone gets a
Peru's got
picture.
it going on down there. I mean,
Yeah.
South America's got an alien party going on for like the last 50 to 100 years, and I wish I was a part of it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And the one girl, there's a picture of a girl holding up her cell phone, and it looks like it looks like a Mando, but it looks like it has those. You ever see those people in those like man-made jetpacks? The
Yeah.
ones where like it's got the hover foot thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, and that's what it kind of looks like, the silhouettes. I'm like,
Maybe
Yeah, I
this
don't know,
is-
man.
Maybe this is like a cousin of the Flatwoods Monster,
wouldn't put it past it.
right?
I'm sure it has some cousins out there somewhere.
Mhm.
Some wild motherfuckers. Just terrorize
Hey man,
peeling
I'm
faces.
telling you, man. For aliens, you got to go to South America. Central and South America is where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that brought you another face, Brexy. You might want to wear this one next time.
Yep.
All right, so our second haunted headline,
Whoa.
and this is just outright. Ah, God, I'm not going to say it. This is just wacky. But a British university offers master's degree in magic and the occult. Oh boy.
They'll accept your money. That's the best part.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to go with. But if you've been getting into crystals, manifesting your dream board, or exploring feminist readings of witchcraft, you can now take your hobby to the next level with the UK's first postgraduate degree in magic and the occult. The University of Exeter is seeking to harness growing interest in the subjects of a course that will explore the history and impact of witchcraft and magic around the world on society and science. The multidisciplinary degree, which starts in September 2024, will draw on history, literature, philosophy, archaeology, psychology, drama, and religion to show a role of magic to the West and the East. Professor Emily Seelove, who leads the course, said, "A recent surge in interest in magic and the occult inside and outside of academia lies at the heart of the most urgent questions of our society." Okay, it's just... Sure, man. Rituals wearing jewelry because it's a long-winded interview here or article.
It kind of makes sense. I mean, because England has a long history of that stuff. I mean, there's there's all that occult stuff they had there. There's famous British individuals.
Hogwarts.
Okay, I was going to try to go the other direction, but yeah. Dr. John Dee is the original guy. He was around during the Elizabethan era, and he was, a famous occultist. And, I mean, I could see if they were doing it like, oh, you're going to learn history and because there's at least a good portion of history where people actually thought it was, feasible. And, so you could study that, but I don't think they're going to teach you the Cruciatus Curse.
They might. They said at the beginning. It said if you want to take it to the next level, If you're trying to summon demons and you keep getting like lesser demons or like a goat man, you know what I mean? Right. Do you want they're like let's get you, Azazel, Beelzebub. Let's get you the big dogs.
Sure.
Take it to is your voodoo doll only causing urinary tract infections? No, buddy. Come on to Exeter University.
Only UTIs.
Yeah. Come on over to Exeter University. We'll show you how to do diarrhea too.
Yeah, I mean that's a hell of a power.
Yeah, isn't it?
Hell yeah.
Your crystals are only resonating at a certain frequency. You want these bad boys?
I would be very interested to see how far they take it. Like, if here's the history, but does it literally turn into fucking Hogwarts? Are they really? Is that what they're doing? They're just trying to capitalize off all the interest in fictional books. Sadly, I think so, my friend. And I also think there's all these the witchy folk now, the mystics and the like
forever. You know what I mean? There's another resurgence of it's way more mainstream now, and there's at least any bar you go to, there's at least 4 of them, talking about energies and the ones I packed in my my B vitamin crystal that it's in my belly button and I keep it so it it just relaxes me and calms me for my my social anxiety and my that's what I get. The witch hate continues from Mr. James here. Hey, it's fine. They probably, they probably cursed me with a few things that I'm a little upset about, and it happens. I might have to order some Hexaquil. You might. Insert commercial. That's too long. It's too long. Wonderful. Yeah. All right, man. Let people do whatever they want. If they open a Jedi school, I might show up to that. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things they're gonna have to overcome, but yeah, the almighty dollar. Yeah, right. Well, if you could actually become a Jedi, is there a price? I don't, you know what I mean? I'd be I'd be signing those 1,000,000-year contracts that the Scientologists were offering in the beginning. Yeah, 1,000,000-year contracts. Yeah, they're here's how we do it. Yeah, you go on this yacht, and we're gonna go for a year or two, maybe your whole life. Yeah, but you will eventually become a Jedi. I'd be all right, let's go. Eventually. Old Ken Kenobi, they'd call me. I like it. Glad you do. All right, guys. So those. Hey, man, I got nothing else. Wacky people are pretending they're at Hogwarts. I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's dumb. Yeah. Hey, look, if you got the money to spend and you're one of those people that are out there, go for it, and I'll, more power to you. I would just be off the grid in a cabin somewhere if I had the money. Yeah, no, I know what you meant. I'm in that same boat, brother. Yeah. All right, but that was tonight's haunted headline. So, all right, on to the Philadelphia experiment. Oh boy, litany of projects movies, books. There's a new one apparently that came out in 2016 that I never saw. It's been mentioned in constant and so many documentaries. Right. It's YouTube videos. It's an interesting one, and I think it's kind of fun that we brought this here on episode 99. Some spooky stuff, some scientific spookiness, and in the Philadelphia area. So, I mean,
this one's been around for a long time. It's one of the older stories because it started circulating in like 1955. So this has influenced a lot of sci-fi and a lot of other stories, and it just endures, even though there really isn't much quote physical evidence. Yeah. But if you're like-minded folks like us, absence of evidence doesn't suggest evidence of absence.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't going to just finish that one for you.
All right.
I was just going to reverse the same word. I knew it was coming. I was going to let you. But it was a nice dramatic pausing there. I'll give you that.
Thanks.
But yeah, like, so this is one of the ones that it just harkens back to I Want to Believe so bad, because where this goes and the implications.
Yeah.
The implications of what happens in this experiment.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, for folks who are not familiar, I'll give a nice little overview for you. So this experiment was allegedly based on an aspect of some of the unified field theory, a term coined by Albert Einstein to describe a class of potential theories. It's actually pretty complicated, and the best way I can describe it is that he was trying to unify electromagnetism and gravity. Yeah. Into a single field. So to try to go into it would just make this a very boring, like, me and I was trying to understand it. It's very theoretical. You know what I mean? Like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, well, if you want to give it a shot,
no. Basically the gist is that this experiment kind of sprung out of other experiments started by Einstein and possibly worked on by Nikola Tesla that would have combined electromagnetism and gravity to either make invisible, teleport, or I don't even know what the word is. Deconstruct molecules almost. Yeah, it's wacky.
It's like, all right, so here's what it is. Remember Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Or Charlie, the original. Remember when, what is it, Johnny TV?
Yes.
Insists on hopping in the chocolate transporter?
Yeah. Mike TV.
Mike TV, that's it.
And well, Mike TV was useless.
Well, all their parents were useless.
Yes.
Uncle Joe or Grandpa Joe was fucking useless.
He was the worst.
He was the worst of them all. Criminal, that man. But yeah, so it basically deconstructs. It was supposed to basically deconstruct the particles so you could transport from one place to another.
Yes.
And that's really what it is, just without the chocolate, you know?
Yep. Yeah, basically. So according to some accounts, unspecified researchers thought that some version of this field would enable using large electrical generators to bend light around an object via refraction. So that object became completely invisible. Think of actually the method that the Predator uses to go invisible was actually based off of this experiment.
Yeah, and it's the same field that the face peelers are using now.
Right. The Navy regarded this as of military value, and it sponsored the experiment. Another unattributed version of the story proposes that researchers were preparing magnetic and gravitational measurements of the sea floor to detect anomalies, supposedly based on Einstein's attempts to understand gravity. In this version, there was also a related secret experiments in Nazi Germany to find anti-gravity, but that's a whole other thing. That's really we might actually do an episode on
the bell.
The bell, all the Wunderwaffen they call it. It's all these crazy things the Nazis came up with.
Wunderwaffen.
Exactly. So there are no reliable attributable accounts, but in most accounts of the supposed experiment, the USS Eldridge. I love this too. Let me just break that down a little bit. The Eldridge, but also sounds like the word eldritch, which means weird or of the paranormal almost. It's like almost somebody chose it for its name.
Yeah. Also, see our other podcasts.
Yes. So the USS Eldridge was fitted with the required equipment at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. Testing began in the summer of 1943, and it was supposedly successful to a limited extent. One test resulted in the Eldridge being rendered nearly invisible, with some witnesses reporting a, quote, greenish fog appearing in its place. Crew members complained of severe nausea afterwards. Now, the greenish fog, there's been some weird speculation about that. So there's that old story from like old mariners back in the day about St. Elmo's fire. It's that green flame that sometimes would appear at the top of the ship's mast.
Yeah.
They don't really know exactly what it is. Some people thought it was some kind of like discharging of electrons that could have happened with, just some kind of weird effect that happened. But
swamp gas.
Yeah, it's reflected off of Venus.
Yeah.
But some of the sailors, they said, were reminded of that phenomenon when they saw this, that there was kind of like a similar thing about it, which is kind of interesting,
Right. I mean, you have even like Will-o'-the-Wisp and other.
Yes.
We went over in our Ghost Light story. So it's like when certain like plant life decomposes, it releases the carbon dioxide or the gases, and they combust into different lights and different colors. So like maybe something's in the mast, some dead birds in the crow's nest. Who knows?
Maybe. Someone said it has something to do with like that there was the cloth sails that created static electricity, and then that may have depending on how high it was, could have come in contact with because they were closer to the clouds, like some kind of static electricity was occurring.
Some low electric current in a low hanging cloud.
Something
triggered.
Neither of us know what the fuck we're talking about. Hey, I'll be the first to admit. Yeah, it's I don't know. I just found that super interesting.
No, it definitely is.
So also reportedly, when the ship reappeared, some sailors were embedded in the metal structures of the ship. Now, this is the one that kind of sticks with me. Including one sailor who ended up on a deck level below where he began and had his hand embedded into the steel hull of the ship, as well as some sailors who went, quote, completely bananas.
Yeah. I mean, you would... Look, watch the you can YouTube it right now or just Google it, the History Channel's version of this, and they show it, and it's like, oh, God, no.
Yeah, which we should probably drop a little clip of that in here if we can.
Throughout this miraculous journey, the USS Eldridge emerges unscathed. But for her crew, it is a different story.
Men were molecularly attached to the ship, bonded with the ship as it was teleported. Men were driven insane, men caught fire, men went invisible. I mean, it was terrible, horrific things that happened to these crew members.
Philadelphia Naval Yard, summer 1943. According to legend, the USS Eldridge returns after being teleported hundreds of miles. As she rematerializes out of a thick green fog, observers are electrified by the achievement, but their excitement turns to horror. Molecules have been scrambled, human with metal. Limbs have been fused to bulkheads. A gruesome sight.
First thing they found was 2 sailors buried in the steel deck. The bodies were literally buried in the steel, dying or near dead. 2 more were found standing upright in a bulkhead, also buried in the steel. 5th man with his hand buried in the steel up to his wrist.
Other sailors are simply missing, vaporized into thin air. For survivors, there are still other problems due to the powerful electromagnetic fields they have been exposed to.
Men were driven insane, men caught fire, men went invisible. I mean, it was terrible, horrific things that happened to these crew members.
So that's what's going on there.
Yeah.
Also, when someone says completely bananas, that just makes me think someone went Arthur German. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did. Don't make me bring that to this podcast.
No.
We could go. I could go for an hour talking about that.
We can have a different version of that story on this podcast. Anyway, there's also a claim that the experiment was altered after that point at the request of the Navy, limiting it to creating stealth technology that would render USS Eldridge invisible to radar. But none of these allegations have been independently substantiated.
Right. So, I like how they were like, Can you alter this a little bit, just so, because we're tired of having to, take apart the hull to pull our semen out of there. Yeah, all the molecules, with the arm stuck. Yeah, they don't like that. Can we alter this project a little bit?
Right. Other versions of the story give the date of the experiment as October 28th, 1943. Ooh, right before Halloween. In this version, Eldridge not only became invisible, but disappeared from the area and teleported to Norfolk, Virginia, which is over 200 miles away. It is claimed that the Eldridge sat for some time in view of men aboard the ship, the SS Andrew Furuseth, whereupon Eldridge vanished and then reappeared in Philadelphia at the site it had originally occupied. And then there was a further one where they're saying that it reappeared, but 10 minutes before it left. What? I was like, how the fuck do you know that happened then?
Dude,
is that like the fastest gun in the West kind of trick? Like, I already went.
Yeah.
I was trying to wrap my mind around that. It came back 10 minutes before it left.
That's a concept that's left for the Einsteins and the Teslas.
Right.
The interdimensional time. Oh, it was a flat circle.
I think Russ Cole could crack it open.
Well, that's the guy you want in every case.
On every case.
Yeah. If any of these, if this podcast started and Russ Cole was the third, like our third guy.
Oh, hell yeah.
He would just it would just devolve into me and you just creeping backwards, wide-eyed.
It would just be one long monologue, and we would just be horrified the whole time.
Yeah, and at the end, we probably would give him a standing ovation, a round of applause.
Yeah,
because it's terrifying and spectacular in a southern drawl that we never thought we'd be super enthralled with.
Right. Yeah. So man. I mean, it traveling through time is just fun times. Many versions of the tale include descriptions of serious side effects for the crew, too. Some crew members were said to have been physically fused to bulkheads, while others suffered from mental disorders. Some rematerialized inside out.
God, Devin.
Yeah. Where's this movie? I mean, there is a movie, but it's oof.
Yeah, it's totally two brothers that are serving on the same ship.
It's a love story.
Back to 1940. It's starring Adam Sandler, and
Yep. Still others vanished, right? It is also claimed that the ship's crew may have been subjected to brainwashing to maintain the secrecy of the experiment.
Yeah, they all got debriefed, serious debriefing.
Yeah, they got blinky things.
Yeah, right. Back then, they didn't. It wasn't a blinky thing. It was more like the mind flare. They pull them down and just.
Yeah. So it's interesting to note because a lot of things come up about this that it's complete nonsense, but
complete phooey.
But I kind of like that it has all this stuff. Where did they pull this ship from, right? Where did they land on this date? And I like that. No matter where you go, there's there's that didn't happen because this wasn't here. That didn't happen because this was here. It's but can't they just alter the documents?
They absolutely can.
Right. So the story of the Philadelphia experiment originated in late 1955 when Carl Allen sent an anonymous package marked Happy Easter containing a copy of Morris K. Jessup's book, The Case for the UFO, Unidentified Flying Objects, to the U.S. Office of Naval Research. The book was filled with handwritten notes in its margins, written with 3 different shades of blue ink, appearing to detail a debate among 3 individuals, only one of whom is given a name, Jemmy. They commented on Jessup's ideas about the propulsion of flying saucers, discussed alien races, and expressed concern that Jessup was too close to discovering their technology. This is some Charlie Day shit.
Absolutely.
The commenters referred to each other as gypsies and discussed 2 types of people living in outer space. Their text contained non-standard use of capitalization and punctuation, which this is wild. You can actually look at pictures of this.
Yeah.
This guy, I'm sorry, what was his name? Carl Allen. Wow. Detailed a lengthy discussion of the merits of various elements of Jessup's assumptions in the book. There were oblique references to the Philadelphia experiment. One commenter reassures his fellow annotators who have highlighted a certain theory which Jessup advanced. Shortly thereafter, which was January of 1956, Allen began sending a series of letters to Jessup, using his given name as well as Carlos Miguel Allende. Which is
that's a cool fucking name, though.
Yeah, but it's just Carl Allen, just zhuzhed it up a little bit.
Yeah, he churched it up, but it's cooler, man. Like, that's totally cooler. He's like, how do I make myself seem more mysterious?
I mean, Carlos Allende is pretty great.
Come on.
No,
I'm giving it up for
no.
Carlos Allende.
No, I like it. The first known letter warned Jessup not to investigate the levitation of unidentified flying objects. Allen put forward a story of dangerous science based on unpublished theories of Albert Einstein. He further claimed a scientist named Franklin Reno put these theories into practice at the Philadelphia.
Fucking Reno.
Yo, Frankie Reno's down.
Yeah.
Frankie Reno's back from the shore. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Why did they have Brooklyn accents in Philly?
Because his name is fucking Frankie Reno. That's
true. That's true. And they put these theories into practice at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in October of 1943. Allen claimed to have witnessed this experiment while serving aboard the SS Andrew Furuseth, which was the ship that witnessed it. In Allen's account, a destroyer escort was successfully made invisible, but the ship inexplicably teleported to Norfolk, Virginia for several minutes, like we said, and then reappeared in the Philadelphia yard. The ship's crew was supposed to have suffered various side effects, including insanity, intangibility. And
intangible.
Like they were turned into
like a
ghosts?
military. Yeah, like what is that?
They were intangible.
That's a straight up. It's a That's like, is that like a military term that they use? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a wild term to use.
To me, it sounds like they're no longer tangible. Like they were like they were vapor or they were ghosts. Like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have physical form anymore.
You could just imagine some guy writing down the account with like a bunch of like, you know, medals and like stripes, just like, how would I describe this?
Right.
Well, they weren't exactly tangible, so it must be intangibility.
It was the general from the beginning of Pineapple Express. Illegal! That's.
You mean Raiden in Mortal Kombat 2?
I do, James Remar. The original Hicks, by the way, from Aliens, but he got fucking arrested for some drug possession charges.
Weak.
Mm-hmm.
Weak.
We also have other accounts of semen being frozen in place. That's weird too. Like that's they just couldn't move, like just stop motion kind of stuff.
That part of their brain,
like
didn't go back in. You know what I mean? Like when it reconstructed them to pull them back out.
Mm-hmm. When Jessup wrote back requesting more information to corroborate his story, Allen said his memory would have to be recovered. Interesting. And referred Jessup to what seems to be a non-existent Philadelphia newspaper article that Allen claimed covered the incident. See, I like that whole thing right there, right? A non-existent Philadelphia newspaper article, right? It's like, if they're fucking with time here, are they going back and erasing, like, news articles? Are they erasing entire newspapers that used to be, like, a thing on a different timeline? Isn't that wild?
Ah, come on.
I love it.
I love it too. But like this is these are thoughts left up to Doc Brown, and
it's happening in Philly. So they don't got Doc Brown. We've got I mean, who could even be
Franklin?
on this? He's dead.
No. Well, who were our saints? Ben Franklin, Edgar Allan Poe,
and Frank Rizzo.
Yeah.
Love them or hate them. They're three very important gentlemen to Philadelphia. Sorry.
It's okay.
In 1957, Jessup was invited to the Office of Naval Research, where he was shown the annotated copy of his book. Jessup noticed the handwriting of the annotations resembled the letters he received from Allen. 12 years later, Allen would say that he authored all of the annotations in order to, quote, to scare the hell out of Jessup. Okay.
All right.
It's weird. I mean, yeah. Two officers at ONR, which is the Office of Naval Research, Captain Sidney Sherby and Commander George Hoover took a personal interest in the matter. Hoover later explained that his duties as Special Projects Officer required him to investigate many publications and that he ultimately found nothing of substance to the alleged invisibility experiment. Of course, why would you divulge it?
Exactly.
Hoover discussed the annotations with Austin and Stanton, president of Varro Manufacturing Corporation in Garland, Texas, during meetings. Okay, Stanton became so interested that Varro's officers began producing mimeographed, that's before photocopies, copies of Jessup's book with annotations and Allen's letters. First a dozen and eventual 127 copies. These copies came to be known as the Varro edition, besides noting handwriting of the individual named Jemmy. This is the one that they think is an alien. was one of the annotators.
Sure.
Sure. Jessup tried to publish more books on the subject of UFOs, but was unsuccessful. He lost his publisher and experienced a succession of downturns in his personal life and died by suicide in Florida on April 30th, 1959. What do you think happened there, Ken?
I think here's what I think happened there. There's two. I think. Okay. One, he lost everything because they're like, we're going to destroy you for divulging too much, and he was warned first. They were like, yeah. That's the constant, that's the thing, that's the control here in my two stories.
Your attitude has put this project at risk.
Yeah. And then some guy smoking a cigarette was like,
"You talking to the press
kid?" Yeah, you fucked up kid. And then basically after that, he was either suicided or he was just like, I have no recourse. Bang.
Suicided. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, look, dude, there's some stuff coming out.
Operation Midnight Climax. Look it up. Dude, after I watched this documentary and then read this like book about and I shouldn't have about the whole MK Ultra and all those like psyops.
Yeah,
dude, if that's what they were doing back in the 60s, imagine what they're doing now.
Can't see, but my head's going fucking crazy right now, gang.
Ken's head is 10 minutes before this podcast happened.
Yeah, exactly. It went back and came. Someone's trying to erase my shit right now, and I'm fighting it by shaking this giant.
Yeah, he looks like someone from Jacob's Ladder right now.
In the rear view mirror and shit. Yeah. Like it's the shit that must be going on now because of the shit that went on back then, and that whole let's go back to World War II with loose lip sync ships type stuff, right? So like everyone was kind of like they're like, you're not serving your country, and like back then there was such a bigger duty for all this, like you have to be a good patriot, a bigger American, blah blah blah, and the people believed it, people bought it back then. Like only the people that like because so many people don't believe anything with this country is good anymore, you know what I mean? So like at this point the lips that are loose are eliminated like that, because the way things would spread nowadays, which they do, as soon as something hits the airways or the internet, everyone goes nuts and you're hit with all this. No, it's fake. It's this is that. Here's a this is a thing. This is something. This is a bag with stuff in it. It's not what you thought or we said it was. It's just look that way. Oh, we'll drop a bomb over there. What?
Oh, aliens are real. Here's a paper mache corpse. This looks real, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because that's kind of where I wanted to go with this one point. Like, look, the guy's an asshole. We know it. But Tom DeLonge, he's been in meetings. Well, hold on. Seriously, he's been in these meetings with people, and it's also been confirmed a lot of that stuff recently about the UFO stuff that came out was actually misinformation. So
do you
all
know
the
nothing's
stuff,
actually been confirmed if you actually look at it?
Sure, absolutely.
Nothing.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is,
I'm just saying that I'm not giving Tom DeLonge any credit for anything.
I'm not even just talking about him. It's stuff that has been out there that goes along with what he has said. Okay. I'm just saying he recently talked about it, and this is why I'm bringing it up. He was on Steve-O's Wild Ride recently.
Good. That's like being on like the Scientific American, like having
exactly.
A public,
But he was talking about it, and it falls that I just saw the clip, but it falls in line with a lot of stuff that we've been hearing about. So first you get the bone thrown at you that no, all these other things are extraterrestrial. They're from other planets, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the first big thing that everyone was told. Then it gets pulled back and say, oh, it's weather balloons, it's all this stuff. Yep. And then all these other things leak, that are purposely leaked that we went over in our Roswell episodes. All this stuff was purposely leaked. So as to look over here, this is a misdirection, that they go, oh, this is leaked documents. This is the real shit that the government's talking about, when there was all this other layer of other stuff that was going on. Mm-hmm. And now we're at the point where the other stuff is leaking about interdimensional stuff. Right. That was been talked about, but that's now the big thing that's being talked about. So it's like, okay, is that another misdirection? Is that another, or is it, are we finally getting through to the real stuff? Because all the movies now too are all that interdimensional stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's kind of like another, call it a psyop or what you will, or people getting people used to stuff like they do in the entertainment industry, to get to the point where you're just like, okay, I'm kind of comfortable with this notion now, because we've been so comfortable with all these alien movies and shows and stuff thrown at us where it's like, oh, other planets, but now it's like, hey, Stranger Things and all these other shows where they come in from the other side. There's this whole kind of split thing. And maybe that's what they were doing with the Philadelphia, experiment. Maybe those, whatever Einstein was cooking up in his mad head of his, would crack some kind of time slip or dimension slip where you could pass through, and maybe it is that kind of thing where like they went through and aliens were real quickly like, oh shit, they're here, and then flash and think I'll put them back together in the ship. I don't know. I don't know. It's wild. End rant.
It's fine. Hey. I mean, this is one of those ones that has a lot of things like tied up into it, right? Because this is 43. This is a few years. It's during the war. It's before the Roswell incident. It's almost in that like timeline. You know what I'm saying? It's like, is it connected? Like, clearly, if you go by the whole thing of like, oh well, the Roswell incident is when we got alien technology, but maybe not. Maybe we're fiddling with stuff at this point. 43, still during the war. A lot of people have suggested that World War II and then the dropping of the atomic bombs is what caused us to be noticed by extraterrestrials. So maybe we're fooling around with this. Oh, let's try to bend light, and then we get some alien technology, and it's like, all right, we're gonna leave that alone because now we got this. Yeah. Whatever it is now.
I can't imagine. I really can't imagine what industrial military complex weaponry and technologies out there now.
It literally boggles the mind. It's nuts.
It just like switches your mouth with your butthole like that, and you're like, ooh, and your butt's like, help me,
Isn't that just Human Centipede?
No, because it takes your mouth and they swap spots instantaneously.
Yeah, I know, but like you get to get the full experience, then you're just one person now.
Sure, but you're talking out your butt and you're pooping out your mouth now.
Isn't that most people though? Hey-o, hot take.
Very true.
Anyway,
very true.
Back to
nice spin, baby. Woo.
So the historian.
So Tom DeLonge.
Tom DeLonge says that.
Sorry, I had to do it. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. The historian Mike Dash notes that many authors who publicized the Philadelphia experiment story after that of Jessup appeared to have conducted little or no research of their own, right? Just parroting a lot of the points that you hear before. Through the late 1970s, for example, Allende, or Allen, was often described as mysterious and difficult to locate, but it was determined that his identity only after a few phone calls. Like, it wasn't really that hard. They were just trying to they weren't looking for new facts. They were just painting the story and just making it more and more,
But that's the thing. Back then, it was kind of hard to locate people because you didn't have the access you do now.
There's glory days.
Yeah, right. There's not like 30 million emails. Like when you're a kid back then, where are all the bikes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they're all on his lawn. They're in that house, But besides that, you had to ride around the neighborhood a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't just, if they didn't answer their phone, you're like, I got to find these fucks. That was the thing. Like, if anyone, you're like, oh, no one's picking up the phone. Ah, their mom must be on the phone. All right, time to hit the bike. Whoever you're with, hop on the pegs. Let's go.
Right.
We got to go find these guys. And then you found them, and you were like, oh my God, I thought I'd never find you. It was so hard to find.
Did this happen to you?
Yeah, dude. Dude, I thought I was never going to see my friends again. No one's picking up the phone. I'm like, what's going on? So you ride, for 20 minutes, and then you find them. And you're like, I thought you were gone.
They're like, Ken, what are you talking about? You arrived there 10 minutes before any of that actually happened.
Exactly. I'm still at my house. It's weird. I disappear. I come up, and they're like,
yeah, you're just caught in this weird loop. Anyway, others speculate that much of the key literature emphasizes dramatic embellishment rather than pertinent research, right? Berlitz and Moore's account of the story, the Philadelphia Experiment Project Invisibility, claim to include factual information such as transcripts of an interview with a scientist involved in the experiment, but their work has also been criticized for plagiarizing key story elements from the novel Thin Air, which was published a year earlier. Whatever. So personnel at the 4th Naval District have suggested that the alleged event was a misunderstanding of routine research during World War II at the Philadelphia Naval Yard. Or what was it? One theory is that the foundation for the apocryphal stories arose from degaussing experiments, which have the effect of making a ship undetectable or invisible to magnetic mines. Come on.
All right.
Another possible origin of the story about levitation, teleportation, and effects on human crew might be attributed to experiments with the generating plant of the destroyer USS Timmerman, wherein a high-frequency generator produced corona discharges, although none of the crew reported suffering effects from the experiment. It's like, so why even mention that?
It's like,
okay.
It might have been gamma rays. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would be, you know, I mean, it didn't exist yet, but I would be like, yeah, could this be, you know, radiation poisoning? I mean, that could explain some of it. I don't know.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're working with high radiation, you know, but even that, like, for things to get that crazy, it'd have to be like an elephant foot on the boat, and that's not going to like melt you into the side of the boat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Observers have argued that it is inappropriate to grant credence to an unusual story promoted by one individual in the absence of corroborating evidence. Sure.
They killed everyone.
Right.
They killed everyone else.
Carl Allen, a.k.a. Carlos Allende, who is said to have corresponded with Jessup, was actually Carl Meredith Allen of New Kensington, Pennsylvania, who had an established history of psychiatric illness and who may have fabricated the primary history of the experiment as a result of his mental illness. It was later realized that Allen was a family friend and a creative and imaginative loner, sending bizarre writings and claims.
This all sounds like doctored documents, you know?
Kind of. It's like, well, you have people killing themselves and you have people, you know, oh, he's always had mental illness. I don't know. I mean, then there's also that there's all these timeline inconsistencies that, you know, oh, the U.S. Eldridge couldn't have been there because it was never in Philadelphia, and then another one comes up that it was. So it look, I
something
see why
smells
people get
fishy,
yeah,
and it's not just the shipyard.
Right.
Hey-o!
Oh man. A reunion of Navy veterans who had served aboard the USS Eldridge told the Philadelphia newspaper in April of 1999 that their ship had never made port in Philadelphia. Further evidence...
And their bank accounts grew.
Right. Further evidence discounting the Philadelphia experiment timeline comes from USS Eldridge's complete World War II action report, including the remarks section of the 1943 deck log available on microfilm. So they're saying it was never in Philadelphia. But if you're conducting secret experiments, would you be on a deck log?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They can suck my deck log if you ask me. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the captain's log. I don't know.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, what do you expect? Like, this is why people get more suspicious too, right? Like, for just them going, look, there's certain things we can't talk about, instead of full out denial, and like, it's like something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, look, something happened. We can't talk about it. Don't be like,
why not?
Yeah, don't be like, this is all fake. Look, check this guy. Oh, he's a liar and he stinks. He's a stinky liar.
I think globalists were involved.
You're goddamn right they were.
Right, and Moloch. Researcher Jacques Vallée, which anyone who's into anything Fordian would know his name, describes a procedure on board the USS Engstrom, which was docked alongside the Eldridge in 1943. The operation involved the generation of a powerful electromagnetic field on board the ship in order to deperm or degauss it. This is just like, it helps like dampen any kind of magnetic field that might be generated by the ship, and it helps them not, you know, so like there won't be like mines or torpedoes. It's sort of like an quote unquote invisibility, but invisibility to mines and torpedoes. That's just dumbing it down a little bit.
Right.
This system was invented by a Canadian, Charles Goodeve, he held the rank of commander in the Royal Canadian Naval. I don't know why that's necessary to be in there.
Fluff. They fluffed it up.
They really kind of did. I mean, they're trying to say that. I mean, just to sum this whole thing up, because there's a lot of technical jargon in a lot of the things, and I get why they put it in here, just to try to, like, you know, but they're saying that it's just a misunderstanding that they were trying to do this, you know, this degaussing or deperming technique to make it quote unquote invisible to, mines and torpedoes. And that's probably the most, I don't know, plausible.
Well, does any of that process include green mist?
No. Yeah. Yeah. They also say that there's a veteran who served on board the USS Engstrom, that same ship, and who suggests it may have traveled from Philadelphia to Norfolk and back in a single day at a time when merchant ships by using these Chesapeake and Delaware canals. This is really grasping at straws. It's like, oh no, it didn't travel back. It sailed there in a day. What?
Yeah, it was quick. It was the Eldritch was one of our fastest vessels.
Yep.
And it just it got up and back. There was no issues with 95 that day. Up and back.
Yeah. But then here's another one that we came across here. There was another U.S. Navy veteran by the name of Edward Dudgeon who served in the U.S. Navy aboard the USS Engstrom. Once again, this other kind of sister ship almost, which was dry docked in the Philadelphia Naval Yard with the Eldritch. Both ships were said to have classified devices on board. So they were neither invisibility cloaks nor teleportation drives designed by aliens, but it was said that they scrambled magnetic signatures of ships using the degaussing technique once again, which provided protection from magnetic torpedoes aboard U-boats. So this, they keep going back to these couple things, and I want it to be, a World War II version of Event Horizon,
Yeah. Yes.
Did they get transported to hell and get ripped apart and then thrown back?
Some version. I mean,
right?
All that sounds like something the think tank would cook up.
Yeah.
It's all like, no, there were these classified devices. It wasn't what you were thinking. Johnny Reno's over here talking about it. He comes in and bats it around a bit, knocks off the magnetism. You come back and look, it's fine. Everything's fine. No one's doing anything with, we're not taking a piece of paper. What's the fastest point between two points? You fold them. You fold them and
But he uses the guy's porno centerfold to do it, and the guy's
exactly.
Like, whoa, Dr. Grant.
Whoa. Yeah, he's like, that's my favorite thing to JO to.
Yeah, we have space technology, but it's funny because they didn't catch up with our technology now, so it's just. And then they show up, 15 years before they even left.
Have you ever seen fire in space in zero gravity?
It's like water. Yes, it's interesting.
It's like water.
Someone's called Baby Bear, and it gets that's kind of weird. He's not really that young, and it's kind of suggests that other shit goes on that ship. You know what I'm saying?
They really tried to push that actor. He was on that show Dead at 21 on MTV.
I remember they tried. Yeah. Stop trying to make that guy a thing.
Yeah, then he was in Idle Hands, and they tried, and by the time they got to Idle Hands, they were just like, he's like a douche that we throw in.
Yeah, he's kind of like the guy from Avatar. It's like, stop. He's not. Stop. I don't care if the two movies you're in made that much money. He's not.
Yeah,
he's terrible in the Terminator movies and whatever else.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric. We know you love him.
Oh, Eric loves him.
That's one of Eric's guys.
Sam Worthington.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Eric. So yeah, man. I mean, that's really the long and short of it here. I mean, it's a mysterious story cloaked in World War II secrecy, where it's like I tend to believe that something did happen, but what exactly happened, I don't think we'll ever know. I mean, we do know that going back to our Lost Astronauts and Cosmonauts episode, that the governments of it's okay. We're on Earth.
Sorry, I blacked out.
I just mean that governments have no problem wasting their civilians or their military enlisted men for no reason whatsoever other than to further their goal.
Yeah, they're all assets. They're not people. They're assets. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Well, and here's one thing I will say. So, whatever was going on, whether it be the fucking delousing or everyone, demagnetization of these ships, there's a lot of Johnny shoe polishes on these boats. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that are just from neighborhoods, from East Coast, you know, they're just dudes, you know, that are just like, tell you what I saw, like there was a green mist and it followed the ship, and then a bunch of guys were yelling. Everyone was crazy. They had to send letters home to the mothers.
Yeah.
Few drops of water short of 4 glasses of water you are, you know, like that kind of shit, you know, like, yeah, that's how they sounded back then.
Because you just went back there and
I
listened
did,
and then came back.
I did.
Right.
When you said
I saw a
Lost
green
Cosmonauts,
mist.
Yeah, when you said Lost Cosmonauts,
Right. That's what was happening. Yeah.
There is green light in here, and I'm wearing this shirt. So,
Yeah.
but it happens.
Maybe that's why it's, you know, Philadelphia has the green, the Eagles, because it can fly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe they traveled in time to Eagles game that was right there, and all the lights were going off, and the green mist was this time travel loop, and they were getting the reflected lights from the stadium that's right there.
Possibly.
Maybe they all went and transported to an Eagles game, and they were all like, "Where the fuck are you from?" The guys were like, "Well, I'm a Dallas fan." And they were just like, and they just pounded on them.
Right.
And that's when they came back.
Right.
They were like, "Oh god."
And that's why people hate Philadelphia sports fans.
Yes.
It all comes from this. Okay. That makes sense. I'll accept that. The Philadelphia experiment was just to, you know, defame all Philadelphia sports fans.
Right.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
Hey, and look, you know, they cling to things back in the 50s, you know, in the 60s.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they threw snowballs at Santa Claus. It's like, nah, that guy was a drunk and he was like grabbing people, so they pelted him. You know, we threw batters at JD Drew. That guy was a dick. But, you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I don't know, man.
I'll tell you what, Atlanta Braves fans, you know, they don't like our call. They throw full beers on the field. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what they do.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is one of these ones where it's like, I think something. It just seems like something did happen here, but it's like, of course you're not going to find these facts because it's all going to be classified. It's going to be double fucking classified.
Right.
And if they, you know, Freedom of Information Act says that it's bullshit. There's still stuff in there that they're never going to declassify.
Yeah.
There's just, it's like, here's some,
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So that's just an illusion. So
I think too, seriously, the people in charge were like, this isn't going to work.
Right.
And that's why they did it in somewhere so visible, right? And it's not like it was today, right? It's not like, it, you know, today, would 95, you're on your way to the game. Oh, there's a shipyard. You're going to the airport. Oh, there's a shipyard.
What are these guys doing over there?
Yeah. What are you green mist or something? What's going on? What are you doing over there?
Is that Ghost?
Yeah, you guys Ghostbusters or something? You guys got soft pretzels down there or something? Go put some mustard on it? You know, like...
Yeah.
Before the cheesesteak was invented, so it was, you know, soft pretzels or something down there? Yeah.
I don't know. Something. Anything Philadelphia, just throw it in there.
Yeah,
Any Philadelphia stereotype. I think it's certainly plausible that something military happened there. I think they definitely tested something. What that something is, I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. Was it something that was used and, you know, built upon, and, you know, we don't even see that technology? Because if it was an invisibility thing, how would we even know they're using it?
Right. Well, that technology has since been, you know, they have, you know, you can, like we said it before, consumer grade. They know how to reflect light now, and you can just get these multi-layered plastic things and bend them, and you're like, oh, there you go. It's a good form of invisibility. But
right.
No, yeah, I think something definitely happened. Will we ever know? No. But once again, like I said, I think just like they were like, was Einstein? Was going to make the ship disappear? And then it happened, and they were like, fuck. Okay, what do we do?
Or it completely like went off the rails. Like they're like, okay, let's. This is an invisibility thing, and it teleported instead. They look at Tesla because apparently he may have been involved at some point because he also died right after.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like, now what do we do? He was like, I don't know.
He's like, look, dude, I just know about the pyramids.
He's like, I'm 137 years old now, so I don't know what you want me to do. I'm half insane. I only talk to pigeons now.
Yeah, and they were like, all right, well, we're gonna burn down your, you know, everything's gonna go missing from your laboratory, and we're gonna burn it down.
Yeah, Well, and they also he was discredited after that too.
Right, exactly. Yep.
He was just living in his apartment at the time. His death ray didn't get to see any, you know, real use. Look it up.
I think it might have recently.
Yeah.
What? Who said that? Tom DeLonge?
Did he say something about his death ray?
No, I
hate
I blamed a thing on him because I know you hate him, so you would go with.
I don't know who I hate more, him or Travis Barker. Both equally annoying, but for two different reasons.
I'm not a fan of Mark Hoppus either, man. I don't.
Oh no, I don't like any of them. But
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
Mark Hoppus, at least he's like, I don't know, dealing with some real shit.
I guess. Sure. Yeah. All right.
I don't know. Anyway,
Look, it's Moloch and it's Blink-182, and they're together.
I think maybe we should have to do a an episode on fucking Tom DeLonge now.
It'd be fun. It would be fun. Lots of clips.
Listen, I gave that guy a chance, and then he was on one of the only times I sat through a 4-hour podcast. This is years ago. What was it? 4 or 5 years ago. He was on Rogan, wasn't he? It was Rogan, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
Yes, it was. And he, it's 4 hours of nothing. It's just babble and evasive answers. It's nonsense.
Well, that was because he had a lot of stuff in his possession that recently came out, man. He couldn't divulge stuff at the time. Hey, bro, I'm just telling
Jeremy
you.
Corbell needs to go get a new fucking hobby. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, Corbell is totally, like, in it for the glitz and the glamour. Like, he's wearing, like, affliction shirts and, like, he's got the gentleman's coif, and he's in there just like, no. And every time the person that he backs up starts talking,
he starts over-talking them.
Yeah, and he goes over and he's like, no.
him.
And then he's like, hey, tell him about the thing you told me. And, like, kind of, like, pushes them and they're like, oh, Jesus, well, okay. Well,
Yeah.
also this happened,
That's where we're at now, because now you have all these dudes like Tom DeLonge and Jeremy Corbell who are like the I don't even know what you call them, the faces of this stuff, and I hate it because I don't know, they have no credibility, and it's very maddening. And it takes stuff like this. It takes stuff like this, like the Philadelphia experiment, that has an air of plausibility and just kind of lumps it into their shit, and then it's like, well, this is, I don't know. I like it. It's spooky. It's mysterious.
Yeah.
I like that it'll always be mysterious. I like that there's that plausibility to it, and I like it. I'm glad that it
ODP
exists.
canon for me.
Oh, absolutely ODP canon.
Yeah.
It's spooky driving past there now. We actually
Mhm.
drove past it the other day just because I wanted to go past the SS United States.
Mm-hmm.
That giant ship. Holy shit, that thing's enormous. And that's right. It's sort of in that area.
It's super creepy though too. That like in that shipyard there still is just like it's stuff decaying. You know,
there's
like,
ships just sitting there. They're in reserve, quote unquote, but we'll never do anything with those again.
Yeah, no.
So we have Black Knight satellites. We don't need aircraft carriers anymore. They have that's the cloaking technology are on all those ships that are orbiting us all the time.
Yeah, well, look, man. I mean, it has a lot of implications into all the UFO stuff and dimension stuff and all the stuff that we really like.
Yeah,
and it happened back then, man. Like,
yeah, no, I think this is a good glimpse into like, what they were kind of into at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
where they were going, what was going to be happening. This is right before the atomic bomb. Like, this is like pre like really sick shit that was going to start happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and then they did it without like lasers. Like how like lasers have become everything. Like, all right, we point this laser at this thing that's going to explode an atom. You're like,
yeah.
It was pre that. It was like, oh, this mist is going to, like,
yeah.
That's mysterious. That's spooky. That's like,
right. They brought out some warlocks to like generate this green mist.
yeah. There's like 7 of them, like
7 warlocks in U.S. military uniforms.
Exactly, because they had them. The U.S. military clearly had the one guy that was with Anthony McVeigh, the guy with the eyebrows. He was in the U.S. military. He was a witch or a wicked or warlock, whatever the moon phase shit. I don't know.
People are weird. That's all I know.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, man. That's what I got for the Philadelphia experiment. Yeah. It's a good one to check out. I'm not going to talk about the movie because it's fucking stupid.
It is dumb.
And hey, check out some documentaries on it. Take the dive. It's fun. It's got that air of plausibility, like I said. And I think it's one of those good old American mysteries.
Absolutely. Now, before we get out of here, time for a announcement. So, along with our 100th episode, I've been working hard, and I will be releasing I guess you'd call it a musical audio play. It's going to be called Other Dangerous Podcast Presents the Full Moon Collective, with some vocal acting from our boy Jason over there.
A small, very small part. Ken's being modest. Ken is working on an opus. A Halloween opus. It's almost a concept album, wouldn't you say?
It is. It is a concept album. You'll see
it's
the
an
full.
EP. I'm sorry, an EP.
It's an EP. When you look at it just in a track listing, it's going to be 6 songs. One's a cover. I won't give up what that is now, but it's going to be released. I believe we're going to go with. It's going to be $15. You're going to get access to a full theatrical audio play / I guess concept album, as you would call it. With vocal acting, there's little skits. It's going to tell a full story, and then you'll have all the individual tracks as well, without any of the other, excess vocal acting on it. It's going to be fun. It's all Halloween themed. Everything's a story. You'll see what comes out, or when it comes out. I've been working my balls off. I'm tying up some loose ends over here. Got to do a full mix, but hopefully, I want it to release on the 27th when our 100th episode will be airing. If not, it should be done Halloween weekend. At latest, October 31st. That just depends on,
There's moving parts and other individuals you have to rely upon.
Yes.
We're just so...
Yes.
So, either way, folks, you're going to have a fun treat from our boy Ken here. Is it true? I heard some rumors. Is it true that Tom DeLonge is a guest musician on your EP?
I reached out.
Yeah.
His people got back to me, and they said he was in another dimension at a time.
Oh, okay.
At the time, so I was like, I get it, man. The guy's got he's got his hands,
right?
Irons in a lot of fires. I get it. He's got to tend to these things,
right?
He's at meetings with classified people that are talking about interdimensional beings. Hey, look, if this can get over there, to them, and we could, generate some steam on this, I'd love that. If Tom could help me out there.
I don't think he's gonna, because he's too busy being fooled by people who actually aren't military personnel and are just good at looking like they are.
Stolen valor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just show up with like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this alien corp? Is this real? He's like, yeah, that's totally real. Yeah, because it is real.
Yeah, exactly. But hopefully it'll. I'm gonna put it up wherever I can. Hopefully it'll be up on all your streaming music download sites. Worst case scenario, I'll at least get it up on SoundCloud. But more details to come. I'm still ironing out. It's been a lot of work. I've had a lot of fun doing it. Maybe we'll do an episode on the making of, after Halloween, maybe talking about what happened, or a little segment. But
sure.
It'll be out there. Other Danger Podcast presents the Full Moon Collective. If you're a fan of 90s spooky television, you're gonna love it. I made it for monster kids from the 80s and 90s.
People are gonna love it. I've heard a good chunk of it, folks. I think you're gonna dig it, and we're proud of our boy Ken over here with his musical output.
Oh, thank you, Jason. I really appreciate it. Well, all right, guys. I think that's gonna do it for the Philadelphia Experiment. For this,
get ready for episode 100 coming next.
Oh my god! Oh, just a little preview. Should we tell them what it's about?
I think we could.
All right,
so hint.
We do a deep dive on Sleepy Hollow and the Headless Horseman.
Yep, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and it's wonderful. And then we are going to recap all 99 episodes leading up to that.
Yep, it's a meaty episode.
Right, yeah, and I think... Oh, wait, hold on. I just traveled back.
There it is. Pull it out.
I traveled back a week. Oh, man, we had fun.
Yeah.
I know that happened.
We did have fun.
Also, I got a tummy ache at a time.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
That's what happens when you time travel through an electrostatic device or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to, go blow chunks and come back, and then, it happens. But it's good. It's good. All right, guys. Well, yeah, like I said, for this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I've been Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the Other Dangers.